Why do people lie even when they know it's wrong? Is it survival instinct, manipulation, or something deeper rooted in our psychology? Let's uncover the truth behind lying. Lying is a universal human behavior, but it's also one of the most complicated. From harmless white lies to elaborate deceptions, people lie for a variety of reasons. In this video, we'll explore the psychology of lying, the different types of lies, and how lies shape our relationships in society. By the end, you'll see that lying is far more complex than it seems, and it's not always about being dishonest. Why do we lie? Lying is deeply embedded in human behavior, often emerging as a natural response to complex situations. At its core, lying serves as a tool for communication, self-protection, or even manipulation. For some, lying may be a way to escape consequences, while for others, it's a means to protect someone else's feelings. Psychologists suggest that lying often stems from the fear of judgment, rejection, or failure. It's not always about malice. Sometimes it's simply about navigating the social dynamics of life. How our brains rationalize deception. The brain plays a pivotal role in making lying feel justified. When someone tells a lie, their prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making and moral reasoning, lights up. Interestingly, with repeated lying, the amygdala, the part of the brain that triggers guilt or discomfort, becomes less active. This means that over time, lying can feel easier and less emotionally taxing. Rationalizing lies is a cognitive coping mechanism, allowing people to align their actions with their self-image. For example, someone might think, "I'm lying to avoid hurting them," which reframes deception as an act of kindness rather than dishonesty. This mental gymnastics helps reduce the internal conflict that comes with lying. The role of survival and self-preservation in lying. From an evolutionary perspective, lying can be seen as a survival tool. Early humans likely used deception to protect their resources, avoid predators, or maintain social bonds. In modern times, this instinct translates into behaviors like embellishing a resume to secure a job or bending the truth to avoid punishment. Self-preservation is at the heart of many lies. Whether it's a student lying about homework to avoid a scolding or someone hiding their mistakes at work to maintain their reputation, lying often becomes a shield against perceived threats. Even in high-stakes situations, like courtrooms or interrogations, the instinct to lie can kick in as a defense mechanism. Ultimately, lying is a complex interplay of biology, psychology, and social context, a behavior that has evolved with humanity and continues to shape our interactions. White lies versus harmful lies. Not all lies are created equal. White lies are often seen as harmless and even socially acceptable. These are the small fibs we tell to avoid hurting someone's feelings or to keep the peace, like saying, "I love your cooking," when the meal wasn't great. They're typically intended to protect relationships or spare someone from unnecessary discomfort. Harmful lies, on the other hand, can cause significant damage. These lies might involve deception with malicious intent, such as cheating, fraud, or betrayal. Unlike white lies, harmful lies break trust, hurt relationships, and often lead to long-lasting consequences. Lies told for social benefit versus self-interest. Lying for social benefit is often about preserving harmony or helping others. For example, a parent might tell their child that the bedtime monster won't appear if they sleep early, using a harmless lie to encourage good habits. Similarly, lies told during a surprise party to keep the event secret can be considered socially motivated. Lies for self-interest, however, are more self-serving. These can range from exaggerating achievements in a job interview to lying about whereabouts to avoid accountability. While they might offer short-term gains, self-serving lies often erode trust and damage reputations over time. Lies of omission versus commission. What's the difference? Lies can also be categorized by how they're told. Lies of omission involve leaving out critical information to create a misleading impression. For instance, failing to mention a mistake you made at work when giving a report is a lie of omission. These lies rely on the assumption that what's left unsaid won't be discovered. Lies of commission, on the other hand, involve actively making false statements. These are more direct and deliberate, such as saying, "I finished the project," when you haven't started it. Lies of commission are typically easier to identify as outright falsehoods, whereas lies of omission can be more subtle and harder to detect. Why does this matter? Understanding the types of lies helps us grasp the complexity of human deception. It reveals how context, intent, and delivery shape the morality and impact of lies. Whether it's a small white lie or a calculated omission, every lie has a purpose and a consequence. A theme will continue to unravel as we explore why people lie. How lies impact relationships. The fine line between trust and deception. Trust is the invisible thread that holds relationships together. It allows people to feel safe, valued, and understood. But when lies enter the picture, even small ones, they weaken that thread, creating gaps that are hard to mend. Lies plant seeds of doubt, forcing people to question not just the specifics of what was said, but the overall integrity of the relationship. Was this lie an isolated incident or part of a larger pattern? This lingering uncertainty can make trust feel fragile, even in the strongest of bonds. Why even small lies can erode trust over time. A seemingly harmless lie can be like a drop of water on a stone. At first, it doesn't seem to make an impact, but over time, the consistent drip wears the stone down. For example, if a coworker frequently exaggerates their accomplishments, you might initially brush it off. But as the pattern continues, it becomes harder to trust anything they say. The same happens in close relationships. One small lie may be forgiven, but repeated dishonesty changes how we perceive the person entirely. What was once dependable becomes questionable, leaving a sense of unease that's difficult to shake. However, the key difference lies in intent and frequency. Lies told to protect feelings or encourage hope can sometimes deepen emotional bonds, especially when the truth isn't critical at that moment. But even these lies must be used sparingly, as an over-reliance on harmless deception can blur the lines of genuine communication and lead to long-term misunderstandings. Situations where lies can actually strengthen relationships. Not all lies come with malicious intent. Sometimes people lie because they want to protect those they care about or keep a relationship intact. For instance, when a parent tells their child that everything will be okay during a tough time, even if the situation is uncertain, it's often to offer comfort rather than deceive. Similarly, partners might tell each other small, reassuring lies to preserve harmony, like complimenting a new outfit they don't particularly like because they know it boosts the other person's confidence. The emotional toll of living with lies. While some lies might seem well-intentioned, they can still carry an emotional cost. The liar often feels the burden of maintaining their deception, while the one being lied to, if they eventually discover the truth, might feel betrayed even if the intent was positive. This emotional tug-of-war can strain relationships, making open communication feel more like a risk than a relief. Lies that reveal more than they hide. Interestingly, the lies people tell often reveal deeper truths about their fears, insecurities, and priorities. Someone who lies about their achievements might feel unworthy or afraid of being overlooked. A partner who conceals their feelings might fear rejection or conflict. In this way, lies are not just barriers, but also windows into understanding why people behave the way they do. Recognizing the motivations behind dishonesty can sometimes open doors to greater empathy and ultimately, reconciliation. Balancing honesty and empathy. Navigating the line between honesty and kindness is one of the most delicate challenges in any relationship. Lies can serve a temporary purpose, but the foundation of trust relies on a shared commitment to authenticity. It's not about brutal honesty at all times, but about fostering an environment where both parties feel safe enough to be truthful, even when the truth is hard. How lying is viewed across different cultures. Lying isn't universally condemned. Its morality often depends on cultural values and social context. In some cultures, honesty is seen as the highest virtue, and even small lies are frowned upon. In others, lying might be considered acceptable, even necessary to maintain harmony or save face. For example, in collectivist cultures like Japan or China, lies that preserve group unity or avoid public embarrassment may be more socially tolerated. On the other hand, in individualistic cultures such as the United States, personal authenticity and honesty are often prioritized, though even here, white lies are widely accepted in certain situations. Interestingly, cultures also differ in how they approach lies in professional settings versus personal relationships. In some countries, bending the truth during negotiations is seen as a strategic skill, while in others it could ruin reputations. Understanding these cultural nuances can help us see that lying isn't a one-size-fits-all behavior. It's deeply influenced by societal values and priorities. The role of societal norms in shaping when and why people lie. Societal norms act as invisible guidelines that dictate what kind of lying is acceptable. For example, it's generally considered polite to say, "I'm doing well," even when you're not, simply because it's the expected social response. Similarly, many people tell small lies in workplace settings, such as flattering a boss or exaggerating enthusiasm for a task, because they feel it aligns with professional expectations. Social norms also influence the perceived severity of lies. A politician caught in a significant falsehood might face public outrage, while someone telling a small, relatable lie, like pretending to like a gift, might be seen as harmless or even endearing. These unwritten rules help us navigate complex social landscapes, but they also create gray areas where it's unclear what level of honesty is truly ethical. Are humans the only species that lie? While humans have perfected the art of deception, we're not alone in using it as a tool for survival or social advantage. Many animals exhibit behaviors that could be considered forms of lying. For instance, certain birds will pretend to have a broken wing to distract predators from their nests. Some primates, like chimpanzees, have been observed hiding food from others or giving false alarm calls to scare rivals away from valuable resources. What sets humans apart is the complexity of our lies. Unlike animals, we can weave intricate narratives, maintain long-term deceptions, and even lie to ourselves. This advanced capability stems from our cognitive development, particularly our ability to imagine, plan, and empathize. It's this same ability, however, that makes lying such a moral conundrum for humans. It's not just about survival, it's about relationships, trust, and social order. Lying as a social skill. In many ways, lying is a reflection of human social intelligence. The ability to lie convincingly often requires understanding another person's perspective, anticipating their reaction, and adapting the lie to fit the situation. While this skill can be used harmfully, it's also a testament to how deeply interconnected our social lives are. Cultural stories and myths around lying. Across the world, myths and stories often reflect cultural attitudes toward deception. From Aesop's fables like The Boy Who Cried Wolf to traditional cautionary tales in African or in indigenous cultures, lying is often framed as a lesson with moral consequences. These narratives highlight humanity's ongoing struggle to balance honesty with practicality, offering insight into how different societies grapple with the complexities of truth and deception. The rise of deception in the digital age. Technology has revolutionized how we communicate, but it has also given rise to unprecedented levels of deception. With just a few clicks, anyone can create a false narrative, fabricate images, or spread misinformation to millions of people. In the digital age, lies are no longer confined to one-on-one interactions. They can now shape public opinion, influence elections, and even destabilize societies. One reason for this increase is anonymity. Online platforms often allow people to hide their identities, making it easier to deceive others without facing immediate consequences. Whether it's anonymous trolls spreading rumors or scammers targeting the vulnerable, the internet has become a fertile ground for dishonesty, fake news, catfishing, and the spreading of misinformation. The phenomenon of fake news has become a global concern. Fabricated stories are often designed to provoke outrage, manipulate beliefs, or drive traffic to certain websites for profit. These stories can spread faster than truthful ones because they often play on emotions like fear or anger, which trigger immediate reactions. Similarly, catfishing, where someone creates a false identity online to deceive others, often in romantic contexts, has become a modern-day cautionary tale. The emotional manipulation involved in such cases highlights how easily trust can be exploited in the digital age. The rapid sharing of misinformation is another major issue. A single tweet, photo, or video can go viral within minutes, whether it's true or not. This creates a dangerous cycle where falsehoods are amplified, often outpacing efforts to correct them. Even when corrections are issued, the initial lie often leaves a lasting impression, a psychological phenomenon known as the illusory truth effect. How social media encourages curated versions of the truth. Social media platforms have fundamentally changed how we present ourselves to the world. The pressure to appear perfect often leads people to create curated versions of their lives, where reality is carefully edited and filtered. While not outright lies, these curated personas blur the line between authenticity and deception. For example, people might post pictures of luxurious vacations, happy relationships, or career achievements, leaving out the struggles and imperfections that make them human. This creates a distorted reality that not only misleads others, but also contributes to feelings of inadequacy and comparison. Moreover, algorithms on platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok often prioritize content that is sensational or emotionally charged. This incentivizes creators to stretch the truth or exaggerate their stories to gain more likes, shares, and followers. The result is an online ecosystem where deception, whether intentional or unintentional, is rewarded. Deep fakes and the future of digital deception. One of the most concerning developments in technology is the rise of deepfakes, highly realistic but entirely fabricated videos and audio. With advancements in artificial intelligence, it's becoming increasingly difficult to distinguish real from fake. These technologies have the potential to undermine trust in what we see and hear, leading to a future where even undeniable evidence can be questioned. Fighting back. Media literacy and critical thinking. Despite these challenges, there are ways to combat deception in the digital age. Media literacy programs that teach people how to evaluate sources, verify information, and recognize manipulation are more critical than ever. Encouraging skepticism and critical thinking can help individuals navigate a landscape where truth and lies often coexist. In this ever-evolving digital world, technology may have amplified deception, but it has also given us tools to uncover the truth. The challenge lies in using these tools responsibly and fostering a culture that values transparency and authenticity. The pros and cons of complete honesty. At first glance, a world without lies might seem like a utopia, an existence where trust is absolute and misunderstandings are rare. Imagine no more betrayal, no deceitful politicians, no scams or frauds. Relationships could thrive on pure transparency, and society as a whole might feel more unified. However, complete honesty also comes with its challenges. Brutal truths could hurt feelings, disrupt social harmony, and create conflicts where none previously existed. For instance, how would friendships or workplaces handle unfiltered opinions? Honesty without empathy could risk alienating others, leading to isolation rather than connection. Why lying in some cases is necessary for survival or kindness. Lying isn't always about malice. It can also serve as a tool for self-preservation or compassion. History is filled with examples of people lying to save lives, such as those who hid others during wars or oppressed times. These noble lies demonstrate how deception can be a force for good in dire circumstances. In daily life, lies often grease the wheels of social interaction. White lies, like complimenting someone's cooking even if it's not your favorite, are small acts of kindness meant to preserve relationships. They soften harsh realities and help us navigate situations where complete honesty could cause unnecessary harm. Consider children. Parents often tell them stories like Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy to foster wonder and imagination. While technically lies, these tales contribute positively to childhood development, showing that not all lies have negative consequences. What would happen if no one lied anymore? A lie-free world might sound ideal, but it could have unintended consequences. Without lies, there would be no way to maintain surprises, such as planning birthday parties or proposing marriage. Fictional stories, an integral part of human culture, could lose their charm if they had to adhere strictly to truth. Economically, businesses might struggle if marketing had to be entirely honest. Would anyone buy a product labeled mediocre or average? Diplomacy between nations could become strained, as leaders might find it impossible to navigate sensitive topics without the occasional white lie. On a personal level, people might become overwhelmed by constant, unfiltered honesty. Relationships could face strain, as partners share every thought without holding back. While honesty fosters trust, too much of it could create an environment where emotional safety is hard to maintain. Balancing truth and lies. Ultimately, the question isn't whether we can live in a lie-free world, but how we can balance honesty with compassion. Truth is essential for building trust, but lies, when used responsibly, can serve a purpose. Instead of striving for a world without lies, perhaps the goal should be a world where honesty is valued and deception is used sparingly and with good intent. In the end, lying is part of what makes us human. It's a complex tool that can be wielded for harm or good, shaped by our intentions and circumstances. Rather than eliminating lies entirely, understanding why we lie and learning to use honesty wisely might be the key to building a better world. Lying is part of what makes us human, but understanding it is the first step toward building stronger, more honest relationships. Before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and let us know in the comments. Do you think lying is ever justifiable? See you in the next one.